NASCAR bails on Bristol Dirt, and Kaulig Racing confirms part of their 2024 Cup Series lineup. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Happy Friday. Busy news day ahead of tomorrow night's Bristol night race, the cutoff race for the round of 16. And speaking of which, some breaking news this afternoon. The start time for tomorrow night's Bristol night race has been moved up 1 hour. It was scheduled to start at 7:30 Eastern. Now the green flag will be just after 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So set a reminder, double check your TV guide, but tomorrow night's race will go green just after 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. And don't forget tonight, the Xfinity race, their playoffs begin tonight, and one Dale Earnhardt Jr. is making a start in the number 88 Hellmann's Chevrolet. So be sure to tune in. I'm sure many fans will. Hopefully the rain stays away tomorrow night. Now, Bristol Motor Speedway made a separate major announcement earlier today. Bristol Dirt is gone. 2024's spring Bristol date will return to the classic concrete configuration. Exact dates of next year's 2 Bristol dates have not yet been announced. NASCAR is hoping to release the full 2024 schedule later this month. But Jerry Caldwell, president of Bristol Motor Speedway, was on SiriusXM NASCAR radio today and said this, quote, "I think as a sport, we've really embraced that people love our sport. They love tradition, but also love trying some new things. And they love returning to some old ways." Bristol Dirt had a 3-year run, but next season, the spring date returns to the concrete. I've seen plenty of fans on social media celebrating this move, excited about this change, and I'm happy for y'all. I really am. There are plenty of changes that I love that many of you don't. So in this case, the shoe's on the other foot because I'm torn. I love Bristol concrete more than just about any other track on the schedule. But did we all just forget about the conversations we've been having all week about how the next-gen car struggles at short tracks and road courses? I went back and watched some of last year's Bristol night race, the first Bristol concrete race with the next-gen, and it was decent. It was okay. Had a fun winner at the time, Chris Buescher. But I also went back and found Jeff Gluck's famous "Was It a Good Race" poll that he conducts every week on Twitter. And check this, 60.7% of voters said yes, last year's Bristol night race was a good race. This ranks number 12 of 13 Bristol races on concrete. It was the least positive received Bristol concrete points race in Jeff Gluck's poll's history. So today we're all celebrating the return of what is more than likely going to be a decent race. I just can't get that excited about it. I'm excited about tomorrow night's race, not because I think it's going to be the greatest Bristol show we've ever seen, but because it's a cutoff race. The energy of the night race, that atmosphere is always something special. So I am excited for tomorrow night. I'm sorry if I'm not that excited about the return of spring Bristol concrete. I thought Bristol Dirt was highly enjoyable this year. Multiple grooves, a deserving winner. Heck, go back to last year's race, which wasn't perfect. Still featured an all-time finish with Briscoe and Reddick getting into each other. Kyle Busch swooping in to steal the victory by this much. The next gen proved these last 2 years that it can race on dirt. I was in favor of adding a second dirt race at a purpose-built dirt track, preferably something like Eldora. Something so that the teams and drivers would take dirt racing even more seriously. So to see dirt go away, I'm a little disappointed. Again, I'm torn, I'm conflicted because Bristol concrete has been one of my favorite tracks my entire life. But I'm worried about how the next-gen car races there. And I'm also worried about attendance. I mentioned the atmosphere of the night race. The spring race had no atmosphere. Blame the weather for a lot of it, sure, but the last couple of years of traditional spring Bristol looked like a ghost town. They haven't announced specific dates yet. They're going to have to find a different weekend, maybe a different month for spring Bristol. Do whatever they can to ensure hopefully a dry weekend because I'm not sure spring Bristol could survive another heavy rain delay or postponement. I'm so conflicted here. Again, I'm very happy that so many fans on social media at least seem excited about this change. But personally, I'm not a fan of it. I wish they'd kept Bristol Dirt for another year, and I wish they'd added Eldora somehow, as much of a pipe dream as that may have been. Having a good quality dirt race like we saw earlier this year showed the world truly how versatile this car is and how versatile these drivers are. And I always thought that was a feather in NASCAR's cap, and now that's going away. So again, I'm conflicted. I'm a bit torn. Happy so many of y'all are excited though. That was the first big announcement of the day, but now let's get to the news everyone's been waiting weeks for. This afternoon, Kaulig Racing confirmed that Daniel Hemric will drive the number 31 Cup Series car full-time in 2024. That's right, Daniel Hemric, who was a Cup Series rookie back in 2019 with Richard Childress Racing, won the Xfinity Series championship in 2021. He returns to the NASCAR Cup Series full-time. In their statement, Chris Rice, Kaulig Racing team president, said, quote, "They say that tough times don't last, but tough people do. That rings true with Daniel Hemric. Throughout all the ups and downs of the past couple of years, Daniel continues to believe in the Kaulig Racing culture. Over the past few months, we've been asking ourselves, what can make us a better race team? We truly believe Daniel can and will continue to make Kaulig Racing better as an organization." Chris Rice posted this photo a couple days ago teasing this announcement. It was the freckle seen around the world. Seen by some at least, because honestly, I still can't make it out. But this tweet made the rounds on Wednesday, identifying a supposed freckle on Daniel Hemric's arm, matching arm hair. I thought it was funny. Today in the press conference, Chris Rice said, "Race fans want to find out. I never knew it would get down to the freckle." Daniel Hemric even said, "I didn't even know I had a freckle." Yeah, like I said, honestly, I don't even see the freckle. So I'll have to go ask my girlfriend in the other room what she saw. FBI needs to hire her. That was some impressive identification skills. Anyway, we now know it is Daniel Hemric. Daniel Hemric's a 32-year-old driver from North Carolina. I mentioned he's the 2021 Xfinity Series champion. He won that title with Joe Gibbs Racing. That night at Phoenix was also his first and so far only NASCAR National Series victory. Hemric does not have many wins to his credit, but he's always been known as the consistent guy. Before that Championship 4 appearance and win in 2021, he'd been to 2 Championship 4s in Xfinity in 2017 and 2018 with RCR. He'd been knocking on the door of that first win and first championship for quite some time. Of course, he did get that full year of Cup Series experience in 2019 with Richard Childress in the 8 car. Hemric finished his rookie season 25th in points with a 22.5 average finish. I like Daniel Hemric, but I'll be honest, this isn't a flashy pick. It's not. Especially when you had Chris Rice teasing that, oh, someone surprising was going to get the 31 car. Daniel Hemric is far from surprising. Already in the Kaulig organization, already some Cup Series experience, 0 wins with Kaulig Racing and Xfinity. That's not an exciting pick. I'm just going to be brutally honest. He's the safe choice. That's how I see it. He'll bring sponsorship from Circle, maybe some of his other partners. I don't think Daniel Hemric has the most raw talent of any driver in the Cup Series, but he does work hard. He's one of those types of drivers who used to work on his own equipment. He understands the importance of saving his stuff. He's 32 years old again. He's more mature than a lot of other young drivers we see breaking into Cup these days. There are worse picks Kaulig could have made. I've always liked Daniel Hemric's approach. I think fit matters more than a lot of fans realize. Daniel Hemric seems like the kind of guy who's fully bought into that ever important Kaulig Racing culture. So again, not a flashy pick. He's a safe choice. I look at what the 31 car has done the past 2 years with Justin Haley. Last year, they were 22nd in points. Right now, Justin Haley sits, I believe, 24th in points. Justin Haley does have 5 top 10s this year, which isn't too bad. That's the bar. And keep in mind, Justin Haley is 24 years old. Daniel Hemric is 8 years older, 8 years more of experience. So I think he should at least meet what Justin Haley has been able to do. I think the goal next year for Hemric should be top 20 in points. That may not be realistic, but that should at least be the goal. 6 to 8 top 10 finishes. To me, that would be a solid first Cup Series season with Kaulig Racing for a guy like Daniel Hemric. I talked to Daniel Hemric earlier this summer, actually, about the last year and a half, how since he won that championship and race in 2021, he's been winless. How has that affected him mentally? How challenging has that been? And he talked a little bit about how he feels he's matured or evolved as a race car driver in just the past couple seasons. Here's some of what he said.
Kind of growing up the way I had to do it. I was building my own cars and having to fix them and get them to the track and come back and set them up and do all that stuff, right? So I think probably the earlier stages of my career, there was probably a little bit of aggressiveness that I lacked because I knew I don't know, just the value of keeping your car intact and all that stuff was still internally kind of burned in me that I couldn't quite get myself over to, if I'm not the right fender here, I'm going after it. It's okay. It was probably a little bit there that I lacked, when I was doing it as a 17, 18, 19-year-old kid. Like, legitimately, I was going to eat ramen noodles that night or filet, depending on how my outcome of these last couple of laps were with these restarts, right? So I've had to kind of detach from that a little bit. I had a hard time with that at Kaulig Racing the first year, I'd say, because I'd had so much consistency all those years that all of a sudden I had this newfound confidence, like I was talking about a minute ago, and I come in and I trying to get more than was there and was making a lot of mistakes, tearing a lot of race cars up. And that's something that I've tried to pride myself on not doing. And so I was thankful to get the shot to come back this year in 2023 and to know that we've been able to tap into that consistency to finish races, to kind of out-discipline some folks in some different scenarios and kind of feel back to my old self, but know I can ramp that aggression up now when I need to. I can go kind of seize the moment when it's going to be in front of me. And we keep doing what we've been doing lately. Those moments will happen sooner than later.
Let me put it this way. I don't think Kaulig Racing is getting worse with this pick. I like Justin Haley, think he's a good young race car driver, potentially has a greater upside than Daniel Hemrick, but replacing a 24-year-old Justin Haley with a Xfinity championship winning 32-year-old Daniel Hemrick, to me, you're at least breaking even. I don't expect the 31 car to run any worse than it has this year. I don't know that it'll run much better, but hey, you never know. Again, fit matters. I do think Daniel Hemrick fits the Kaulig Racing mold really, really well. So good luck to Hemrick. I set my goals for him for next year. Top 20 in points. If he can do that, that would be pretty impressive, I think. Keep in mind, Kaulig Racing, while they've had flashes of brilliance, I know Allmendinger did win a cup race a couple of years ago at the Indy Road Course, they're not a key Chevy partner. They don't get the same support that RCR, Trackhouse, or Hendrick get. To expect this team to make the playoffs every year or win a race every year is honestly unrealistic. Allmendinger is such a good road course racer that I think we sometimes oversell just how good Kaulig Racing is. They're still a young team. They're still a growing team. We'll see what they can do with Daniel Hemrick. Speaking of Allmendinger and the number 16 car, Chris Rice, Matt Kaulig confirmed today that they have nothing to announce regarding the 16 yet. They're still working and finalizing plans for that car next year. Allmendinger may return. He could go back to Xfinity. They could bring someone else in. I think it's still very much up in the air. But Daniel Hemrick will drive the 31. Let me know your reaction down in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We talk NASCAR every single day, every single week here on Out of the Groove. And as always, a huge thank you to my very generous Patreon supporters. I really do appreciate you guys. Tonight, the Xfinity Series playoffs kick off at Bristol. Tomorrow night, the Cup Series round of 16 wraps up with the Bristol night race. Again, moved up 1 hour. It starts now at 6:30 Eastern time due to threat of late night rain. So I'll be watching. I'll be reacting afterwards. I hope you guys tune in as well. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you again really soon.